Back again. How are we? Hello, Jen. Are you awake, Jen? I know you are. We just talked. Because I got a message for you, Jen. I'll just wait for people to log on. Hi, Moon in Cancer. Barely awake. Wake up. Yeah, I know. We are actually quite tired at the moment. It's really strange. Get ready for the 19th and the 20th. We've got more solar flares coming, so we're getting prepared for more downloads, so to speak. Look at my hair. It's like, oh, fly away. 11 p.m. in Texas. Come on, girl. You know you can do it. You're in Texas. Have a drink. Have a coffee or something. Hi, Nicholas. How are you? Jen, I was going to say, so weird. I tried to open that link that you gave me from YouTube. For those of you who listen to music at the moment, I've noticed a synchronicity and a change in the vibe of music and lyrics. Hi, Sarah. How are you? It's really strange because I couldn't open this link that Jen gave me, and literally I was going to send her the same bloody link. If you guys look at some of the music coming through from female artists at the moment, it has a message. 9 p.m. You're doing well, Nicholas. That's kind of the norm for me. It's like 1 o'clock, yeah, and then other days it's like, wow, so tired. Some of the music that's coming through, which I do share to my Facebook page, you'll notice a transition in divine feminine. And synchronistically, obviously, when they recorded these things, this would have been a spiritual change they were physically going through for a long time. Now, the Jessie J song, Queen, has come out. And, you know, if you look at it, it's really depicting a message that had been downloaded to me today through whatever you want to call it, my guides, my intuition. But the funny thing is, a lot of the way we are looking at ourselves within twin flame connections as females, as a collective, and yes, I will be doing the masculine energy as well, so fear not. And I am going to be doing additional videos as well as a series, but these are going to be pre-recorded, so any part in your journey you can always access them to use them as tools to work out why you're dealing with things in a certain way. Now, look at some of the lyrics that I've put on the Facebook page, because a lot of the feminines are changing frequency and energy, and these are of younger souls as well and older. I mean, Jessie J spiritually has changed, definitely. Kesha, Pink. There's new artists that have come through that are quite young, and a lot of the way they're kind of changing is about their self-respect, their integrity, their body image, the way they perceive the world outside of themselves. And this is very much what's going on. Now, as I said, I am very particular about the style of people I listen to on YouTube, the styles of readings I listen to. I'm very selective, and I think with our ascension process, we're becoming very savvy on picking and I don't, how could I say it, frauds really, when it comes to the journey. But it's our intuition really that is waking up more so. It's not directly intentionally people are frauds. It's more, what is the correct vibration and who is directly relating to you. So those guides or messages are directly going to be channeled through particular people for you personally, where you are on your journey. So for me, the ones that I have listened to, there was one message coming through, and it was connected to the sacral chakra for divine feminine, and they were discussing that aspect that it's out of balance. And I sat there and I had to really meditate on that and think, okay, now where is this coming from? Because many twin flames are different parts of their journey. Definitely I would suggest, you know, always coming to a point where you listen to your higher self, but also come to a place where you regularly do, you know, your chakra clearing, using the tools you can, especially through this ascension process. So drinking fluid, having a real good meditate when you do have the energy, and listen to your higher self and your thoughts about where you are in your journey and what you want to do. And this can be connected to your creativity, because for divine feminine, sacral chakra, really, this person was saying that the sacral chakra was out of balance. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm afraid of my twin coming back. He's due back in town Monday. Okay. Yeah. So for the feminine balancing of the energy, what you need to do is, use the tools, use your toolkit. So if you're guided to detox, but don't do it hardcore, because you've also got to listen to your body. If your body's saying, hey, you need to go for a run, go for a run. If it's saying you need to sleep, sleep. Don't be angry at yourself. Just start being respectful to self, because that's very much what part of this process of the journey is. Your body is, you're like a spirit in a host, so to speak. So your core self is your vehicle that you need to look after. So if you can look after it and follow its frequencies and its patterns, you're more in tune, and you're going to get the downloads more. You'll be more in tune to what you're hearing. Now, with your sacral chakra, it is connected to, sex, intimacy, the give and receive, all of those aspects. Google it, check it, have a look. Now, this one particular reader was stating, and some of you might have come across them, and I'm not going to name names because it's not my style, that divine feminine was guided to, and not, in layman's terms, she was stating, she was not suggesting that you should go and have sex or get a karmic partner or whatever you're guided to do. Mystic Lovely Aries tuned it out so she can't hear me. What's her age bracket? No, just joking. Now, the funny thing is, your intuition of what you're guided to do and what your life path is going to be and what is placed in front of you is all divinely guided. It's all divinely orchestrated. But I had to tune into that energy a little bit. Now, I sat here and I said to Jen, it was very interesting because, your intuition is what guides you. And I have been seeing a lot of synchronicities lately. Before I do the reading, I have pulled the cards already. And that's because what I was channeling, I didn't want to remove the cards. So I've literally laid them out, and I'm going to leave them as is, and I will tell them to you. Now, it's very separate energy, because I wanted to see physically where you guys were at as feminines and where masculine energy was in their pathway and what they're emotionally dealing with. Because not at all times should we be looking outside of ourselves, which is a lot of what we're doing at the moment. Because if you directly are on a correct path, you're aligned correctly, which means you're 10 steps closer to connecting, should that be divinely guided. Now, the things I have been seeing is bees. Now, bees is directly in a totem factor connected to love. I've also been seeing synchronicities connected to numbers. I've been seeing hundreds and hundreds upon clocks. So clocks everywhere. Somebody made a reference in my last Twin Flame video connected to the clock that I have on the wall. So there is a speeding up and a change in the timelines for a lot of people. The ones of you who are further back in the journey, there will be, and this is the younger generation, there is a spiritual change happening with you guys, but definitely for the older generation that have been on this path, your path is not as long. Whereas the others, depending on if you pass this stage of lessons and karmic lessons, so to speak, what will happen, union for you guys will come should you take that challenge, should you choose to take that challenge. But the other ones further back, and I'm talking, some of them might not even know that they're twins, their path is different. They still have to do the work and do the purging, and it is divinely guided because you have to come into a sense of self. Now, when it comes to the sacral chakra, a lot of feminines that did have partners in karmic relationships are doing different things with their body. This can be they're worshipping themselves more. It can be they're being selective about what they do and who they interact with, be it at an intimate nature or not. And that purely is going to be a spiritual choice, because you have changed to the point where you are you're no longer looking of the act as just sex alone, which was the way it was initially, but it was almost like, how do I put it? You were appeasing twin to give them what they needed at either frequency they were at. So there were times where if you were intimate with your masculine, whatever sex they are, masculine energy, that there were times when they had this complete emotional disconnect, which was a different vibration. Then there was the spiritual connection, which you were tolerant of both aspects, because it's about understanding the yin and the yang of your personal personality. But at all times, when you weren't feeling correct in that, at times you would appease that situation. After what has transpired of where you are now, for those of you who are not in union, your frequency's changed, and the way you're looking at your body is more as a temple, and you're being very selective about how, it's not even about how another respects your vessel, it's how you personally choose to respect it. So the people you are going to mix with and the frequency of what you're going to tolerate is going to be very different. So it's almost, some of you might have pledged chastity. I'm just going to put it out there. Some of you might have been very selective about who you're choosing to date. And some of you might have become extremely traditional. So how is this relating, Divine Feminine? Flies everywhere. It's weird. Cool. Traditional, yes. Relates. Wow. Okay. So, yes, you're okay. Very much for the older feminines. I'm getting to the masculines. I'm not going to forget about you. You know, I'm going to do the reading on that as well. A lot of the feminines at the moment have gone through a great deal. A great deal. The death of ego is a massive transformation. Now, I can see by the cards I pulled, masculine is actually having the death of ego currently. Now, it's going to benefit them, and it can be that they're currently going through, and I would say they're currently going through that at the moment, in the way that, but it's directly connected to self. Every change you as a feminine have is directly connected to self. So yes, masculine might trigger that factor, but ultimately speaking, as a spirit, you hold both energies. So you hold feminine and masculine. I'm undecided yet whether I'm going to do the videos for those of you who have thought, hey, I'm never going back, that's it. But you to the core will always be twin. So I may be doing readings connected to energy as such of twin. So that if you don't want to, you know, tune into that, you can tune into you and what you're needing to do for your growth in your life. So if you're interested in those, when the video is finished, you can put a comment down below. And if you're wanting me to do those videos, I can do those videos too. Now, what else have I been saying? I have been seeing a massive tower moment for the masculines. This was received this morning when I woke up. There was a very anxious energy connected to that. Changes on the 19th and the 20th. And around August, the 8th of the 8th, there is a portal opening. So there is changes coming around that time as a collective for Divine Feminine and Masculine. And I will tune into that later. But I have been saying that for a while, that I kept seeing August being very, very different. Now, I'm going to focus on the feminine energy, and then we'll clear the cards, but I'll show you the synchronicity between what's going on with you guys. Ultimately, feminines, you're very much in a creative mode at the moment. Many of you at where you're at, you have done purging, and purging still to come. Nevertheless, that's part of life. But some of you will be sort of getting to an ease point of acceptance in the aspect of purge. You're still going to have your heavy moments, but it's almost like you're working with it. It's like it's not becoming as much of a job as you anticipate it. So you're riding that wave now. So you're a bit more at a better frequency to deal with the aspects of what's coming. And if this hasn't happened, this is what's going to start happening. It is a process, but you're you're doing the best to actually work through that process. Now, your visualization and your intuition connected to what you feel is coming, when you are at that good frequency, you need to get into a meditative state away from ego, because feminines now are learning to be more aware of what is fair, what is the ego, and what is truth. And there is a stark difference. So when you're purely not judging it and you have no kind of push pull connected to what you're physically feeling in your life path, your outcome's going to be, your higher self is intuitively going to tell you what the outcome's going to be. This does not have to be at a time frame, although some of you might be able to tune into a time frame of when you think these situations are going to take place. But you need to sit quietly in order to do that. You're very visual at the moment, and this is very much changing. This purging and ascension process, you're going to start having very vivid dreams. You're also going to come to a place where you are also manifesting and you're seeing the end outcome. And it's about a connection. Now, this can be where your connection's going, who you directly are connected to, be it with your masculine, or however you're relating to this card. But it's taking something to the next level and where that is for you. This does have to be inside yourself as well. Can't connect. Yes, you should drink water. Okay, now, in an aspect of this going to the next level, the marriage needs to come from within. A lot of feminines are understanding this now. A lot of times we were actually giving the power away, so to speak, and thinking somehow another person or another situation was a direct solution. I think through the exhaustion of the journey, you're physically coming to a place where you're realizing you need to come home to self. And this can be quite a troubling task when, you know, you're doing a lot of purging and you're getting to the place that the emotions are very heavy and you're realizing that you can no longer run from yourself. And that's the exhaustion part. It's like, okay, I've waited for the knight in shining armor to come and save me. This is a theory, okay? This isn't me physically. This is just an example factor. You've waited for things to come together. Slowly, different old paradigms you considered have fallen away. So the traditional aspect of relationships now, although you may move on, for some of you, should you choose that, that's not saying it is happening, you would no longer be the same person. So you could not fit into that mold anymore. So you will change that next person's frequency should you go to a different person. So this is merely what I'm saying. So you would no longer be that feminine that would be able to be something who she used to be. That's all I'm saying. So, you know, if that was all giving and no taking, that frequency is dead. That's just no longer an acceptable vibration. If you were, you know, at times having people come towards you and speaking to you disrespectfully, and you would just go, I'm an empath, you know, that's okay. It's that no longer would be acceptable too. And I can actually say from my point of view, a lot of people that know me are very much having to readjust to who the new Yildiz is. And it's not that this has not been who I've been the whole time. It's been that I didn't allow people to see that. And that is about coming home to self, is that when you put that fake mask on, it's many things we use, like, how do I put it? For the sake of others, but we were not so selfish. You need to be selfish at the moment. And you were being selfish before because you were not considering yourself at any given point in time. We're focusing only on feminine at the moment. I'll get to the masculines at the moment. And this is about us not giving our power away. And I am going to be doing lots of different videos to get our frequency correct to get us where we need to be. I will talk about that in a minute. And that is very much coming through in the masculine's energy. But it will depend on if they're just totally single or in a karmic relationship. So for the feminines in general, you're manifesting. You know what you're wanting out of life. You know where you're going. This doesn't have to be a marriage. And you know you're a twin. Being a twin means you are spiritually connected in a sense of that soul and you are forever. Okay, so some people call it a spiritual marriage or a divine connection, however you want to label it. I mean, too many times, even the divine masculine, divine feminine, they're old paradigms. The energy of whatever side is relating, take what it does. Now, you are now starting to gain clarity on what you physically want. Now, it doesn't have to be the physical person, although for many of you, it will be a physical person you know you want. It's the bigger picture. You're not thinking small anymore. You're thinking very big. You're like, I can see the bigger picture. Too many things have been holding you down in a sense of creativity. Creativity has been coming up a lot for feminines. You know, and for a while there, I was thinking, what's going on? I mean, a lunar ash definitely talks about a surge where we are very much coming into a place where the creativity's coming, which is, I totally agree. I mean, I have notes everywhere as to different videos and different educational tools I'm going to be providing. So there is, feminines are really manifesting at a very large ratio what they're wanting to do in their future and how they're wanting their life to be. And that's the whole aspect of taking your soul in an ascension sense and taking it to the next level. But actually, that is assisting the ascension process and the connection with the two. Union or no union, that is essential because your spiritual path is your spiritual path and you have to keep going. Now, your personal boundaries is also something that's very relevant now. This has educated you to actually come to a place where you know what you will and won't tolerate. You know your worth. It's been a very hard road to actually learn that. And now it's not, this woman is almost crouching down, hiding. I don't feel your energy to be that. If it's going to be like that, it will be very temporary while you're adjusting to the aspects of personal boundaries. Because really, you're going to walk away from anyone who is not vibrationally correct. Now, it's not that you are going, if you're doing that out of a sense of anger, you're avoiding the conflict of the things that you're needing to purge, because coming home to self is not running. Coming home to self is stopping and standing in adversity and dealing with the conflict and purging that shit out to the point where you go, right, I can stand straight now. I have my courage. I have my personal boundaries. And not being afraid. And I mean, really, where my life is, I'm probably, look, nobody is ever perfect. There is no way possible you will ever reach that, because we are to constantly grow. But I'm stepping into that energy more, and people around me are having a time to adjust to that factor with me. Now, the people in which you communicate with has changed. The way in which you communicate with people has changed. The art of communicating is changing. That lesson created a gift, but you're realizing you're the gift. People are lucky to have you. And when you were in that vibration of giving too much, it was because you were purging that aspect of childhood where you felt inadequate. So you felt you had to earn everything you got. Now you're realizing that you are the asset. You have worked very hard on your self-esteem, on your body-related images. And now you're in the internal, which you'd been doing work on both sides. But now you're coming to a calming. It's like, you know, almost like the ego is dead. Not completely, but it's at that healthy vibration where you've had a humbling experience, shake you to the core, break you to the core, to the point where you just know. You know how you're going to deal with people, and you can see through shit. Okay? Quite honestly. And I had said to Jen, like I said, I am very selective about the readers that I choose on YouTube. to the point where I can look at the actual caption, the picture, and I pick the frequency. But I'm psychic, so that happens. But you get a vibration from the tone of the voice, by the energy coming through in the reading. And don't get paranoid about it. I mean, if you're drawn to something, that's your frequency and that's what you're drawn to. So that's the message for you. But I am noticing that I am, with the messages, tuning into my higher self and knowing what is truthful to me. So that's what you guys are going to start doing. So it's almost like if you have a friendship come to you and they're saying something to you, you will know what is true and what is false. It's like you got the X-ray vision going on, Divine Feminine. I mean, it really is. You're seeing through shadows. Visually, you can be seeing a lot now as well. So you don't indulge people now. You're a straight shooter, and people are finding that very awkward to deal with. Now, you will become a bit less sharp with your tongue, and I feel you guys are working on that, even with the lower frequency of maybe a person that is, it could be a friendship, it could be a parent or a sibling, whoever it is, and anyone in life. You are going to come to a place where, with your personal boundaries, you're not going to bow down and go, this is what I feel. You're going to be, well, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't sit right with me. And it's not even an angry frequency. It's just, I know where you're coming from. And until you grow, I respect that's who you are. But, okay, cool, no. Now, pleasure. Okay, well, Divine Feminines, we all know we've been having financial related constraints, but it's because we were purging. That's changing. You're getting down and doing the work, okay? A lot of what's coming through, again, is your creativity. So you're not focused on your actual vessel. You're focused on your vessel in a different way. You're focused on it to the point where your vessel is your blessing, but you're not getting into ego connected to, if you have a shitty day and your hair looks like crap and, you're like, you know what? Fuck it. This is me. I'm having a day. So you're doing work. You're getting your hands dirty. You're going to do what you need to do to make shit happen for yourself. It's like Beyonce says, anything you want, you bought it. You're going to make that happen. Now, again, I have put a video on my psychic page on Facebook. There is information in Yilda's Readings on YouTube of that link. Now, in this video, it talks about the fact that we, and through this path, you do understand that, and in the initial stages where we're an ego, it's about a romantic story. And yes, it is a romantic story, but it's a different... Okay, Divine Masculine at the moment is at the top of the tower like Rapunzel, okay, and we're doing the work. And it's not saying they're not doing the work, but it's saying, look, get a bloody ladder, use your hair to climb down, chop it off and climb down and go get what you're wanting. Please do not wait. Now, when I say don't wait, it's not saying that you personally are running away, because this is what this card is telling you. No, stand up, deal with adversity. The adversity has nothing to do with masculine. That's their shit. Okay? And our shit's our shit. And I'm just calling it how it is. Right now, I want you to stop and have a look around and see what you physically need to deal with. Because that's still going to be there. I can ultimately tell you. But right now, what do you need to do? For those of you who are on this path and you're not doing it, huge suggestion. When you have that energy and you're not purging and you're not in that emotional hell, if that's where you're at, forget about the pleasures right now. Tighten your belt if that's what you're guided to do. Do the work. Start coming from a creative point of view of what you can co-create, what you can visually do to get certain things in your life to a point of great success. Now, they say when you come home to yourself, which is what I was mentioning, the video that I've placed on my Facebook page, is that when you come home to self and you have a realization of who you are, that's not the end part. That's the beginning part, because that is not big enough. When you come to think of it, there are so many times in life that as feminines, and this can be any sex, so human beings in general, masculine, feminine, because we hold both these energies. So theoretically, we're going to have both these things going on. That if you come to self and you say, I know myself now, that's not the end. Where have you limited yourself? Did you perhaps not get the best career because you thought that, due to what society said, that a masculine could only earn a certain amount and a feminine could only earn a certain amount? That is an old paradigm, and that shit's got to change. So, but it comes to you. So you're starting to look at your life differently now. You're looking at it and saying, okay, for some of you, you might have had failed marriages, you might have had very bad connections and, school and people's opinions of yourself. This, again, is an aspect of spiritual growth, because they're old ways. Write down what your dreams would be. If there were no blocks whatsoever, nothing, not connected to society, connected to money, connected to proximity, location. If you write it down, no ego involved, then go back and write down the reasons you feel you can't do it. That key point's exactly where you have mentally blocked yourself to believe that you can't attain those goals. Yet physically, I can tell you, from a manifestation point of view, a lot of what has happened with your divine masculine was an aspect of your manifestation, but through fear, not manifestation. So if you look at how simple and how synchronistic it is, to the point where you manifested certain things to happen due to your fear-based situations, which again is aspects of self-sabotage, which both males and females in life both hold, no judgment. The ironic thing is, manifest at a level that you put it out there. It's a seed of an intention. Why can't you have it? If suddenly you had no bread and butter on your table and you weren't thinking so much, whoever you are, crying on your couch, worried about it, and suddenly you had no food, you would manifest that. You would make that shit happen. So try not to get an ego connected to, I can't go and get my dreams. Try not to get into ego connected to, but I might miss the boat, or twin might not be there. I mean, that is preventing you from your spiritual pathway. Hello, Japan, welcome. The ironic thing is, in a level of pleasure, you guys are now restraining from pleasure. This can be at a sexual level. This can be at a selective level. It might be that you are mixing in different circles now and mixing with a different frequency of crowd. It can be that you're working and trying to create, funds and healthy ideas. Many of you are starting with absolutely nothing, yet it's the millionaires of the world that started with nothing and ended up being multi-billionaires because they had nothing to lose. Feminines, you have nothing to lose. If you've lost so much and you physically feel you have lost everything, what the hell have you got to lose? It came up twice. Pleasure seeker and pleasure seeker, as a clarifier in reverse. You're doing the work. You're restraining from it to get things done. You're making the sacrifices. You're making sacrifices for yourself now, not for the sake of others. You're doing it for you, but try and have the balance. And I kept seeing the scales last night. It's not because my main sign's Libra, because most of my chart's Cancer, but I don't know why this is relevant. I am feeling it's probably yin and yang. Get the balance right. If you're getting gritty, go and have a break. If you're tired, go and have a sleep. Manifest, yes. Dream, yes. Co-create, yes. Deal with your blocks, yes. But still have a break. If that means that you go to a friend's and you do something nice, go and do that. If it means you're going out for a coffee date, go and do that. Do what you feel is vibrationally correct for you. Don't stress too much. Try and change it though. Look, I can actually say I have started setting my alarm for 5, 6, which will change your energy. Yes, you can go with the flow of it, but at some point it's almost like if you had a full-time job and you know it was going to kill you, and you're coming home and you're feeling tired, if you do not have a routine that is full enough, fill that up. Use that time. You are going to sleep better. Try and snap out of it to detach mentally and emotionally. You know what I'm talking about. So that you can focus on you. If you actually stop and look how much energy you've placed just temporarily, and I'm not saying permanently, I'm saying look how much time in your day has been absorbed by that. Could you imagine that's still there regardless if you absorbed your energy for half of that time frame into you, and you know what you would mass create at that. If you need to, utilize the passion and the love and the feeling you personally hold for your divine masculine as your muse, so that they can inspire you to take the challenge and do what you physically feel you need to better yourself in to get the best possible outcome out of your life, if that's what you feel drawn to do. Now, your sacral chakra. Lots is changing by August for you guys personally. Now, it can be that you choose a partner. It can be. But many of you, I feel, it will be different. You're going to be doing things in a sense of purifying, detoxifying, clearing, and looking after your temple. That's really the way I think a lot of you will be doing things. And here's another message that was coming through, which Jem was laughing. The clarification cards, love. No comment? Because you're spending too much time thinking about it. It is divinely guided, and I know that's an arsehole of a thing, but it is divinely guided. And no amount of the work you do moves it. Yeah, I'm seeing 7 a lot as well. 717, 777, 555. What else have I been seeing? 444, 414, 414, and that's going to pick up as well. Now, connected to your sacral chakra, I keep hearing take me back. Yeah, 212. I've been seeing the 2s and the 1s for years, driving me crazy. And even when I was doing this spread, it was 111. And I'm going, Jen, bloody 1 to the 111. Now, your sacral chakra with the clarification card of love. And if you know Carrie Underwood, Cupid's got a shotgun. It's a bit like the metaphor of the runner turning into the runner. No, the runner turning into the chaser. Now, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I'm speaking in code here. There is a switch of energies. Now, go and Google that song. First song that comes through is Carrie Underwood, Cupid's Got a Shotgun. Because this little baby cake here is Cupid, okay? And look, they've got the bow and arrows. It's a very comical song. And the other one would be the song that Jen and I saw, which is Queen by Jessie J. And that's, again, about worshipping your body like a temple and actually making people earn it. So if somebody comes to you of a love interest, be it your twin or be it love, they best be earning that shit, because you're going to be like, no. Did you think I was... No. I can just see you guys being very, very selective, emotionally speaking. You have changed. You've evolved. You want a spiritual connection. It needs to be a correct, emotional, spiritual connection, or everything else you actually provide for yourself for. And it's not really in a sense of a competition. How do I put it? Look, some masculines may be very triggered by that, but they're balancing their energy as well. They'll hold both. They won't need a feminine. You won't need a masculine, honestly. And that is a very good vibration to be in any given relationship with. It's not a needy vibration. So it's not that, you know, you're coming into it saying, I need you to be, it sounds bad, my sugar daddy. You know, can you just pay for my, you're like, I'll pay for my dinner. That's cool. Yeah. But you're going, but that, the temple, you better love that. Because that, like, I do everything else myself. So, you know, if we're going there, you got to earn that. Or you got to love. It's got to be true love. So you guys are going to be really selective about who you choose to mix with, who you choose to sleep with, who you choose to allow into your circle, how you let them into your circle, who you sleep with, and how you're sleeping with them. So it will be a very deep spiritual connection regardless. Yes, well, feminines are getting to that, and we have both. We've had to, but we do have to be grateful for the masculines for that. We would not be who we are today without the masculines triggering us to be that person. So regardless of the shit that's gone down, we really do need to, wish I had a hat, take it off to them, because, you know, my twin had been my muse, and, you know, spiritually, yes, that's what it is. Each step of the way has challenged me to be the better version of myself. Even if those steps at all times have bloody hurt and very much torn me to pieces, they have been the best blessings in my life to help me with my self-esteem, my sexuality, the way I view the world, my connections to people, my personal boundaries. I mean, that's what I learnt from it, but that's what he created. That's what he helped me learn. So it's an arsehole of a way to learn it, but we're such stubborn bitches that is how we had to. But they are learning from us too. It's not one-sided, and it's the same way as a reading. When I have readings with you guys and I'm giving you a reading, I will physically get something out of it. It's a mutual thing. So your desires. Then the desire card come up, which is all about goals, passions, cravings, fulfillments. Okay? You are feeling sexually activated. It's not you don't have a sex drive. But you're putting that passion into every area of your life. You know, it will be your cash component, the give and take, the balance of that. And there is an offer coming, or offers, which will be popular. Okay? You've got offers coming. But you're focused on heart chakra, abundance, creativity, because you give everything to yourself. So you don't want a lover. Do you know what I'm saying by you don't want a lover? If you do, you're the frequency. It will have to match your frequency. They're either in it for the long haul, or they're going to have a proper spiritual connection with you, or you will discard it. You will enjoy the connection, so to speak, but you're focused on your growth and your movement and where you're going because of a loss. Now, this can be a few ways for you guys. This can be that you're saying, and look, masculine should not get an ego connected to this, because this isn't to say that feminine, depending on the wave of the feminines, that just because she's choosing to turn a lover down, if she chooses to do that, that she's waiting. Many feminines are doing different things. So, you know, it depends on what, if masculines are cross-watching, I don't want them to get the wrong idea. And these are the troubles with these readings. Spiritually speaking, you are doing a lot of healing. You do have offers. You're going to have offers, but you're going to consider aspects of offers. You're still healing from aspects of loss. That can be at financial, emotional, or what you gave away and you didn't get back. And you're investing. Now, you can deem it as your golden box, your sacral chakra, what you invest in, your heart chakra, your spiritual growth. But fortune is now being manifested, which means you're healing your heart chakra. You're healing your blocks. You're becoming grounded, more financially secure, more anchored, more ascended, more awoken. And the card is a number 6, which is connected to love. So it's nature, presence, practicality, stability. Your clarifier is money in reverse. So you know that money does not run the world. You know that love is the highest vibration. You also are not a gold digger. You also know that if you need this, you can manifest it. You may not see it right now, but as you heal, you have the tools in order to make that. You need to balance your masculine energy and your feminine, and you need to get on your horse and get trotting. You need to come out of the melancholia. It's time. You'll do it in the correct time because your fortune is waiting. Your prize is very close, whatever that be. Masculine energy. Very interesting. The first card they got, which I had to clarify this with Jen. Sexuality. Now, there was a few stories coming through in their spread. Now, they got solar plexus chakra in reverse. Now, this is all about their personal power, their self-esteem, and their confidence. And it's in reverse, and I'll get to that. But they've got sexuality, and the clarifiers I pulled was connected to work. Now, the sexuality card is about openness, sharing, beauty, and honor. So in some ways, they feel they haven't honored themselves. Some ways they feel that they're becoming more open. They're learning to balance and share. But it's through doing the work that they're realizing this, or working through those areas. Now, they do want to express assertiveness, self-control, and direction. But at the moment, they are soldier in reverse, which means, you know, to me, this is the masculine card. Okay, there's soldier in reverse, and another clarifier, money. Okay, their self-esteem is very old values that they're working through. Now, their sense of being is directly connected to how they physically feel about them being a masculine in this world, directly reflects who they are in the outside world and prevents them from being open. So their cash component is being impacted as well. So for them, when they don't have that financial abundance, this directly impacts their self-esteem. So this, at the moment, is teaching them where the block is. And for them, it's about freedom, but it's spiritual freedom. For them to come into this energy of what they're working on right now, they're learning this very crucial lesson. And they know it already. They're very spiritual. Now, many people ask me, is the masculine energy awoken? The answer is yes, but the way they look at things is different to the way you look at things, if anything. When they have been blocked, it's been due to a karmic energy in life of what they had to learn. In the initial stages, the feminines, when the masculine met the masculine had been suppressed for a while, or had visually seen a suppression connected to mother or father and didn't want to co-create that. So when you guys met, they activated you, you activated them. The energy was too intense. Masculine triggered feminine, feminine triggered masculine. Now their path went on their way, your path went on yours. Yet the way they lived was disconnect. Yet you constantly searched, perhaps for masculine, 9 times out of 10 definitely, for the direct masculine or a masculine energy inside a person of what you felt spiritually you needed. Some of you might have found that for a while, some of you might not have. Some of you may have met soulmates, karmics. There would have been a karmic prior to meeting masculine, 9 times out of 10, which would have been a brief snippet of an aspect of narcissistic behavior. Later, masculine, to a degree, exhibited that but for a different reason. Not as a true blue energy, but as a front and a band-aid connected to what was internally going on with them. So for them to come home, they need to come home through their wounds. So you guys would have been then changing energy, where you then started mirroring the way they lived, which they were fancy free, disconnect. You would have gone through a time of being very disconnected. And those of you who are early on in the journey, this is what's going to happen, okay? You're going to disconnect. You may be very aloof. You might be very detached. You may very much have no direct connection. So you at some point will get to a place where you will mirror the aspect of the way they had their life. So they may have believed to live very light and have, very little assets, very little to tie them down, very little grounding connected to roots and family and kin even sometimes. You've had to learn many aspects of what they've already gone through, and you have learnt that through your life path, but also what masculine had triggered in you to see currently in your life of what was real and relevant. So now where they are, many of them, that they do still have that element of being anchored to feeling stuck, similar to how feminine perhaps at some point felt in a given situation they were in their life. Until they can purge that lesson, they're going to be anchored. You need to do you. It's their lesson. You can't hold another's hand to go through that lesson, but that does depend on where you are in the journey. If you're in union with your masculine, if you choose not to be in union with a soulmate, you're still doing energy work regardless. So whoever you are, you as a twin will be a twin for the rest of your life. You're still going to do this work. Masculine has the next card of love in reverse. Now that can be currently where they are. They don't understand how to receive love. And a lot of what we are going through is receiving love. So it's similar, it's mirroring really. So they're learning that. We may have been giving it, but they didn't understand how to receive it. But many times they were repelling it because they didn't feel worthy of it. The clarifier is the here and now though. In their love life, if they're in a love life, this is for those who are in a love life. Love in reverse at home. They don't feel they're home, but they're not home and they don't understand. They're very confused. There, I have it all around me. I'm home. I can't feel it. Because it actually doesn't relate to a home. It actually doesn't relate to a person. It doesn't relate to feminine. This directly relates to them inside. Until they can heal those core wounds and rip those band-aids off, and that can be masculine energies collapsing, weeping, getting to the core hurt of everything that's transpired in their life, because it does relate to feminine, but it doesn't relate to feminine. It can be that their home environment now, energetically, is, I feel a numb energy coming through, where they're having an aha moment, but they just don't get it. And I might pull one more clarify. Not that I did that with Jen, but I'm being drawn to. How long's this video going for? 54 minutes. Yes. Okay. Now the next card they have is solar plex chakra in reverse. Too many. And that is all to do with the fact that they feel they have no personal power. They feel they have no self-esteem. They feel they have no authenticity. So they're actually coming to a realization that they have lost their identity in the journey. Now, it is connected to the journey, but it's not. It's connected to, they just simply don't feel anything because they had not been doing the work inside. It stripped them to the point where they felt if they were cold, that it would protect them. But all it's done is band-aided it. There's so many layers of band-aids. I mean, I'm going to have to do a video on band-aids where we're trying to mask the problem and they're feeling very numb. There is a numbing energy. This can be like the devil card you were stating is coming up. This can be many aspects of band-aids. Now, they can be using numbing devices to actually deal with it. It can be a cold energy. It could be a nonchalant, silent energy. I'll just show you the solar plex chakra card in reverse. Now, it can also be drugs, alcohol, codependencies, suppression of emotion, saying everything's fine. Called another clarifier. Death. This can be connected to several things. This can be connected to the death of a parent. This could be a spiritual death, the death of ego. Until those old wounds can physically be purged and die. They're also feeling dead, connected to no reunion. But the reunion doesn't just have to be with the feminine or the masculine, however it relates, because we hold both. It's to do with the union in themselves, the union in their own soul, the potentials that were never reached. Can again be connected to the mother and father relationship breaking up for some of them, or it not being the way they thought it should have been. But the union is within themselves. So it's many messages really coming through there. Now, in their family is the next card, but I'll pull one for the house before we go too far. Heart chakra work. So weird. Okay, I'll show you. Love in reverse. They're home. Are they? It's almost like a baptism. To reach to the 10, look what he's holding. His heart. The water, the emotions. He needs quiet. He needs to meditate and he needs to do some heart chakra work. He's got to listen to his heart. But he's going through a clarification. He's questioning his moral compass of a decision he made, because the card's definitely like a compass. But there's positivity behind him. So he's considering the possibility of what was behind him. He's really trying to make a decision. There's the number 7 card. Daydreaming and decisions. Now, they've got family, belongings, community, culture, tribe. They're all there. Baby in reverse. It can be that there is an immaturity in this environment that they're dealing with, or there is something not maturing in this environment at home, family. It can be that the person they're with, they don't want children with. It can be that, and again, this is a number 2 card, so this can be connected to feminine, that they're feeling that that is family, and they're having a think on what they think is family. But something isn't changing. I'll pull a clarifier on that. What I'll lean on. It's not changing. Yeah. Happiness isn't. Fair enough. There's another message. My happiness. Now, next card. Again, solar plexus, self-esteem in reverse. Lord in reverse. Divine masculine in reverse. Yeah, my happiness slowly creeping back. Now you're at home. Woo! If it comes out again. Okay, their self-esteem has been lost, and they are not feeling masculine in energy due to something that happened with divine feminine masculine. Fred! Jen's flatmate's cat is in love with me. I have another girlfriend. Big shout out to Lauren. Her cat, his name's Seb, but his original name, he was taken from the pound. Or rescued from the pound, rather. Let me pull the card before I tune out. Anyway, her cat, his original name was Eric. And both Jen and Lauren say that I'm married to these cats. Okay, what is this Lord card? What's this about? They're feeling that the reason they can't be that is that they have an inability to succeed. They're wondering how to release you or how to release the hurt. And they're feeling, are these all upright or release? Yeah, they're finding something hard to let go of. I feel it's the connection to how they feel of themselves. They're finding the ascension very difficult. They're wanting to open their heart up, but they're finding it hard. They're afraid. They are healing. They're breaking the chains. But they're learning how to shine. They're not used to that. They've got a lot going on in their mind. I'll leave that one there. I won't go any further. But directly speaking, look, self-esteem and, you know, them building themselves back up emotionally. They've had a lot happen in their life. It's really, it's not, it might in the 3D look like it's connected to feminine, but it's not connected to feminine at all. This is a lifetime of hurt. For feminines, that's the same crap with you guys. You know this is the truth. This is about you guys. Yes, things have happened in the connection, but ultimately speaking, you know, the way masculine, you know, triggers you is directly connected to what's already happened in your life. Any feelings of jealous energy at all? Oh, I can tune into that. Presence, awareness, attention, reality, and connections. They're having their aha moments. And the clarification was that who's their enemy, who's not. And it's with a person they have a deep connection with for a long time, longer than if they're in a karmic relationship, like who their friends are. They might also be going to a friend who they know that is older than them for clarification, but I feel they're doing it this very secretly internally. So what did you want me to tune into? We'll leave those alone, but feminine, do what you feel is best with your vessel. So if you feel guided to date or move on, you follow your intuition. If you feel guided to do your internal work and become a monk, you do that. But you worship your body the way you feel is correct, because you're guided to. So what area did you want me to tune into? No comments, which is like, what next? That's another video I'm doing. I'm going to create a library of the triggers because it's so relevant in the twin flame connection. And Beautiful Jen was the one that led me to it, really, deep down. You know, as I said earlier on in the piece, obviously I've been psychic since I was a child, had the telepathic connection connected to all around me, but didn't know completely how until I researched how all these things happened. Now, we are mirrors. Now, here's some homework for you. What do you feel is lacking, in your opinion, in your divine masculine? Write that down. Sit there and meditate, and then look at that list and see whether there is something in your life that is directly mirroring that. Because that's why it's coming up. Because when we're in ego and we're saying or seeing there is an area, it's not that it's incorrect or correct. It's something for you to look at. So finances and masculine is relevant. Finances actually in feminine is relevant. It's on both sides. And another thing, family is very relevant, as my family tree bracelet popped open. You know, that I've been having dreams of that nature too, which have been quite intrusive. I will say this. Some feminines may have experienced trauma at childhood, which this situation is triggering. And I apologise if I'm touching a sensitive area, but I guess it probably does really need to be discussed. Now, this can be feminines and masculines. And I do feel from a base chakra, sacral chakra point of view, there might be a purge coming connected to that. So if that's relevant for you, anything that's physically happening right now may take you on an emotional roller coaster. This can be anything from childhood abuse to rape to, you know, partners that maybe might have been a little bit violent towards you. But definitely a purge is coming up towards that. And that can be masculines and feminines, because on both sides, the sexuality related cards come up. So don't be surprised if aspects of that comes through. It can be anything to do with the way you feel about your body. It can be having checkups. It can be your emotional triggers connected to intimacy and love and sex. And also past tense hurts directly connected to that. And that will also, for many of you, involve you know, any harsh things of a sexual nature that have happened to you. So you might just have snippets of flashes, and it might come through in dreams, closing your eyes and visually seeing things. Look, I'm doing collective readings at the moment. If you guys are wanting a reading, you can book. But at the moment, I wanted to give you guys that message. Definitely when I've got time and I've finished the videos and that, I can get on here. My internet should be fixed very soon. I'm using my own credit on this phone at the moment, and then I'll go back to doing more live sessions. But the zodiac is going to be pre-recorded. I am going to enter into your chakra, any blocks you physically have. I've got manifestation and money kind of tarot coming, and I have new twin flame cards coming. So I can tune into that. I'm going to try and do some small videos connected to karmic partners and different things like that, but it all comes down to the time I have. But the live sessions, when I do, if I come on, I'll try and do like energy readings and things like that to give us a heads up of what we're feeling. There you go. Okay, but you'll find if you're mirroring, you will always mirror. You can pre-book it now, Dale. There is now a birthday special up there. So if you want to book it for next month, you just go to the booking section and you can just book it ahead of time and put it on the next month. We can pre-book them. You can choose any month, really, as long as it's your birthday. You can. Any other areas you guys want me to cover? I do feel a lot of conflict around the masculine energy at the moment. Look, they're having their good days and their bad days. I do think they're meditating quite a bit. What else am I picking up on? They're very concerned about finances. You intuitively, Sylvia, will get a direct connection from your twin at any given point in time. A lot of their energy has disconnected. It'll come and go. It'll come and go in waves, but there has been quite a big disconnect of late. You're in contact though, Crystal. Yours is different. That's what I was saying to a lady I was talking to yesterday. I was like, gosh, those of you who made it through April, hats off to you. What does it mean when there is a burning sensation in your solar plexus when masculine is around? How long have you known each other? One, 1, 1, 1, 7. How do you balance? How? Yeah, heart chakra is coming up, so chest related and very heavy energy. How to balance self-healing with talking and healing insight to help your loved ones. Oh, the beauty of that. Okay. I can tell you through this process of the ascension, I had a few trigger points. We should probably log off and log back on because this video is going to be bloody long. So I'm going to log off and I'll come straight back on. Otherwise, this video will just be too big.